Hello creatives, welcome to my channel. In this tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you how to get better at graphic design using the designs I received from my group members. So without any further ado, let's start. Unity is very important in graphic design, and that's what's going to take us to our first design in this video. But before that, what I love about the design is the boldness of the title, which is the first level of hierarchy in the project. As designers, part of how we draw attention to our design project is making our title big or making it so obvious for people to see. Okay, so that's what this designer did here. And I also like the fact that now, when I say I like the fact that I'm trying to make you guys know what made the design successful to me. Okay. So now the other thing that really helped the success of this design is the warm color that we have on the title. Warm colors are colors that reads fast. So the warm color in the title is what also made the title really draw attention fast. And I also like the extrude effects that we have, on the title. That is the 3D effect. So when you are trying to make your design carry weight, all right, you're trying to make it really shout, like you're trying to make it draw attention fast. Making your title 3D form is also part of how you can, do this right. Now, but what I noticed that this designer did not really do well here is the part of the hierarchy, the movement in the design. All right, aside from making the title big in your project, there's also the part of controlling the high movements in your project, which is hierarchy. So I noticed the designer did not really do well in this area. So I'm going to move things around and show you guys what I think the designer is supposed to do. But before I get to the moving the elements around, there's another thing I noticed this designer did not really do well. Now you see, guys, whenever you are using illustration in your design, all right, I want you to know that the illustration is also part of the project. Yeah, I know so many of you already know that. But when you put too many content on the illustration, you are going to affect the visibility of the illustration, and you're not going to make the illustration do what it's supposed to do. When you're using illustration in your project, your job as a designer is to find ways to make the illustration flow or connect with every other element in the project. And we mostly call this unity in graphic design. We're making it look like every of your elements, work together. So when you download an illustration that you're using in your project, relax and take your time to understand or to check how you can connect the elements in the project to the illustration to make it look like they belong together. So this is what I'm saying. You should be careful with the way you place elements in your illustration, is because of the stiletto image that we have in the project here. The title is covering this and is really affecting the visibility of the stiletto. So I'm going to quickly tweak this and show you guys how I believe this should look. So this is what I transformed the project to, and the reason why I changed the project, I already explained part of it. One of the first one is the making the title connect to the other elements in the project. But there's something I did not do well here. There should be a shadow. Should be a shadow in here. All right. So as to make it look like the title is actually inside the stiletto. Yeah. So then the part of the movement, which I noticed the designer did not really do in the original design. All right. So yeah, so I changed the scale of the information in the project to really help make the project look dynamic, to control the eye movement of the viewers. Right. So this is how I was able to do this right in the project. So the first thing that drew the people's attention is the image, which the designer hid in the original design. The illustration, which is this. All right, this was hidden in the initial design. So I made that visible. I created unity in the project by making the title sit on the stiletto. And this really made the focal point more stronger and more friendly to the eye. Then I also made part of the title serve as a sticker on the stiletto, which, really made the unity in the project balance. You know, unity is very important in graphic design. Making it look like every element in your design belong together is very important. And that's the reason why I decided to add this drama here in the project. And then the other thing, the other part is the movement, which is the hierarchy. The on the original design, all right, the designer did not play with the hierarchy well. He didn't play with the level of importance in the project well. So I decided to do that by making the dates and the time bolder, which is I want people to see the date and time after the title. All right. And if you, I'm sure you guys can see that the title is now looking bigger than the information next to it in the project. And the next thing that the people see after the title now is going to now be the date and time and the venue. And then we now have the feature, which is the other thing that we have in the project, which is going to be the next thing that the people see after the dates and time with the venue. And then the last thing the people see is going to be the RSVP's contact details, which I don't think this should also be this big. This should also come smaller, all right, and they should come in a a tracking form like that. So this should be this smaller, and also this still need to be smaller, all right. The dress code still need to be smaller. Yes, so this is where I'm going to stop on this project. Okay, so there's another information that I did not play with, which is the Boxing Day. All right, good. So we can have this here, and yeah, to still fly. And let's see the before and after. So this is the after, and this is the before. All right. Now we have content written now, like the space between our content is now making them breathe, unlike the way we have it here before, that everything is too close to each other. All right. So here we can easily, access the information, and I'm sure you guys can agree with me that the project is now sweet and nice. All right, let's go straight to the next project. This is another project I like. The designer did a good job with the way he or she played with the elements. I like the way we have the, the smoke effects with the in form of the title, which is beautiful. Part of how you do the unexpected in your project is by making your type serve as illustration, which is what this designer did here. He or she made the type serve as illustration, and this really made the project look interesting to the eye. And I also like the fact that we have all these elements flying around, and this really gave life to the project. And why this is successful is because if you look at the food image, all right, you will notice that these elements that are flying around in the project, we have them inside the food here, and that really made unity. That really made the connection between these elements and the focus balance. All right. So I know so many of you may be wondering, so why do we have to add this to our project? You see, reputation in graphic design is very is also part of how we make contrast strong. All right. Repeating elements in your project is part of how you make the focus of your audience go to the important information in your project. So whenever you have all this playing around of repeated elements in your project, what you're trying to do, or what the designer is trying to do, is trying to say, hey, people, I want your focus to be on the focus, the important information in the project. All right. And that's what, part of what made this, project successful. But the part where I noticed the designer did not do well here is the part of the shadow. Now, the shadow behind the plate is too strong. All right. I think that's just the only thing that I noticed this designer did not do well. The stronger the shadow, the closer the object is to the surface. All right. So this side of the shadow here is still better, but this side here is the shadow is too strong. So I'm going to quickly show you what I'm trying to say here. Yeah. So this is how I expect the designer to apply the shadow and not like this. All right. I'm sure you guys can agree with me that the soft shadow that we have now is better than the hard shadow that we have, on the original design. All right. Yeah. So please, the way you use shadow in your project also matters. Shadow is also part of just part of the tools that we use to tell story in graphic design. So the way you apply your shadow is also very important. All right. So let's go straight to our next design. Now, this is a church design project, and I so much love the composition here. I like the way the designer, add drama to the title here. All right. I so much love this. And that's the reason why I decided to, it's also part of why I decided to add this to the list of design I'm going to review. All right. So this is beautiful. I like this effect here. This is very lovely. And I also like the fact that, which is one very important thing that I also want every one of you to take note of. If you take the faces of the characters, you notice they all have this similar color on their faces. And this really made the unity in the project balance. When you are placing images next to each other, it's always best to make the color on the faces of your characters uniform. And that's what this designer did here that really made this project look successful. And I also like the part of the hierarchy in the project, which is if you check the dates and the time here with the venue, you notice they have different scale, and this really make the movement in the project interesting. All right. And then the other thing I've been trying to make you guys understand since I've been doing this training for you guys, this designer did it here, which is making images of characters serve as your background. If you look at the background of this project here, you'll notice that the images are not as visible as the image of the speakers here. All right. The color on the images blend with the background image, and this really made this serve as the background. So when you're using images in your background, it's always best to make the color on the image that you're putting on your background uniform, and not make them do not make their value so strong that they start fighting with the image that or the pictures of the characters you place on the foreground of your project. And that's what I also noticed that this designer did well here. All right. And this is a beautiful project. Kudos to this designer, and I hope to see more of designs like this. All right, good. So let's go straight to our last design in this training. All right, so this is another beautiful project that I love. All right, and why I like this project is the playing with the contrast and also the hierarchy here. I like the fact that the project is simple and easy to navigate through the information, that we have in the project. Wow, I'm liking the designs I'm seeing today. So for those of you that don't understand why this particular design is successful, all right, I'm going to tell you guys why now. So the first thing that really made this project successful is the contrast. If you look at the project, aside from this title looking this beautiful here, we don't have any information on the project that look like this title here, and this really make this project so sweet to the eye. All right, and I also like the fact that the eye movement in the project is so balanced. After seeing the title, all right, the next thing that draws our attention is this part here, which is another way giving room for contrast in your project. All right. So if you look at the project, notice that aside from these three information that we have here, there's no other information in this project that carry this style. So when you see this, you know immediately that anything that carry any element in this project that carry this style, all right, are seen as one family. They are seen as they belong together. And that's another thing that every designer must know how to do, where helping your viewers find it easy to access the information in your project. All right. And then when I get to this last part of the project here that looks simple and there's enough space that gives those information the chance to breathe. So this is a beautiful project. There's one other thing I almost miss here, which is this information, all right, this drama that the designer did here, which is making this All right. This element serve as the part of the letter E. All right. And this video, really made this project interesting and fun looking to the eye. The type of elements, the type of colors, the way you play with your characters in your project is part of how you tell story in graphic design. Why this project is so successful, all right, how this project connects well, yeah, that's it. How this project connects well with the goal of the project is because of the effects and the color the designer use here. All right. And whenever you have design project with this type of effect and color, what you're trying to create is suspense. You're trying to create suspense and energy. And that's what this designer did here. This light effect you have around the title and the chrome effect and the title really made it look like, see, this is a very important, event that you need to be part of. All right. And whenever you're trying to do any event that got to do with fun entertainment, or you're trying to say, okay, see, you need to be part of this because it's going to be loud. Part of how you are going to make that happen is when you apply this light effects, that this designer did here in your projects. All right. When you do all these light effects, all right, when you apply it to your project, it gives life and it makes that suspense happen in the project. Lastly, you can also use this design for project that you plan to use to illustrate luxury or event for very important people. And the reason why this is suitable for this type of project is because of the gold chrome effect that we have in the title. I'm sure you learned from this tutorial. I need you all to work together with me to touch lives. Let's share this video with other creatives. And aside from that, we have so many young guys out there who can afford to buy internet data. So I need you guys to work together with me to touch the life of these people. I have a foundation where I'm starting teaching people on site. So we're going to be needing computers, space, and other accessories to make the training of these people successful. So your donation is very important. Kindly use the link on the screen to send your donation. Guys, nothing is too small. Whatever you have, kindly give to support this foundation. If you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button and remember to click the post notification bell so you get notified when I post my tutorials. Give this video a thumbs up if you love it. Drop a comment if there's anything you want to share with me. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.